Hi guys, and welcome to a Mike's Positively Technical World video review. Today we're going to be looking at a box. We're going to be doing an unboxing. It's a big box, not the biggest, but it's certainly quite large. Welcome ladies and gentlemen to Mike's video review on the wx845 mitre saw. Going to be interesting, this one. Let's go try and take a look at it, because of course I say try, getting the camera angles on this is going to be very interesting and very tricky. Let's go have a look. So what can I tell you about the wx845? It's big, it's battery powered, it's completely cordless, and other than that I don't really know a lot about it. It's a rotating disc that spins a blade that's like that. It's clearly a 40-tooth blade because I can see it says that there. It comes with a battery and a charger. It's got this funky little red handle thing and these wire supports to keep lightweight. I assume a plastic, possibly metallic topped base. It's got a laser on it. Other than that, I'm kind of a little bit at a loss. So let's crack on. Let's get the old slice out, slicer open, and just have a look and see what she's all about. Right. If I do some more hmms and open the box, you might sit there and think it's a bit more mysterious. I'm actually going to pause it and do some good old-fashioned movie magic and go click. Okay, it might have changed slightly. Okay, let's not go deceiving ourselves. But inside the box, you get a charger, which is wA845. You get the manual, which is pretty hench, let's be honest, as well as the charger manual. And you also get the tool, funny enough, you know, you can't really miss it, let's be honest. And you also get some bits inside the cardboard center section. That's the cardboard center section just here. And inside here you'll find some stuff. You'll find the other brace bar that goes the other end, I suppose. It doesn't have to be big, huge or thick. You also get a dust bag as well. This is probably the most important thing in the world when it comes to circular saws. You get a handle of some description. I suppose this maybe goes on the front, or maybe, I don't know. You read the instructions, we'll find out. We'll discover it together, guys. And I'm assuming a 4-amp battery in there. Let's just get rid of the cardboard, put it to one side. And what should we go for first? Should we do the usual Mike's boring bit, you know? Let's go for the manuals. We all have a good manual, riff-raff. And I've already looked at this online. And slightly better laid out, I thought, assuming it's exactly the same as the one online. Let's come around behind the camera. It appears to be anyway. So start off with, you've got the usual, here's all 20 to 29, wow, 29 different points, and if we go through to the 3 pages in, even further, no, we're now, there it is, component list, and the components. We've got lots of different components, loads, literally loads. I'm generally not going to go through them all. I'm sure that we'll discover them together. I will have a quick look at the pictorial. It's where the battery goes, which is across the back here. I will flip it around for you guys. Actually, I'll tell you what, guys, come on. Let's take you on tour. Release you. And yeah, battery goes in around the back here. And Obviously you can screw it down. It is worth noting my assumption this is a plastic base is incorrect. This is a metal base. I'm not sure what metal it is. I think it actually might even be an aluminium billet of some kind, because that is very, very nice. It's either a billet or a very, very cast steel. I don't know. Metals aren't really my speciality. I like wood. I know what to do with wood. But anyway, let's go through and have a look. So the blade's already pre-attached, which is good. It's a very good thing. But it does show you how to release it, and you've got the little stop button. So the stop button I would expect to be just underneath here, exactly where you'd expect it to be. Again, guys, the stop button for the blade switching out is just there. You can see obviously it's strapped down, so we will have a look at releasing these straps. It's how to install the bag, how to install the other side vertical holding piece, horizontal holding piece. Quite nicely snaps in place there. You need to snap those in place, or I do believe you can just squeeze these, he says, once yourselves, and just release them if you don't want these, or you're dealing with very small or smaller pieces of wood. It's very good. We'll just now replace these back in place. I won't install the other side just yet. We shall just go through some more bits and pieces in the instruction manual. You know, keep you on tenterhooks, guys. The next bit does involve, thankfully, cutting these cable ties. Use my compound pliers. We shall cut. Let's just go bang. This should just keep it held in place whilst in transit. Make sure it doesn't spring up, get lost anywhere. I think we've got to do the same with the other end at the back. The small piece of packaging, I think, just stops the sliding arm from getting bent. And then we can release the beast. We've also got this wonderful tag, which I'm sure invokes some kind of very important health and safety information. Yeah, it's got a minimum point of no return, so they've got an official, a minimum cut length line. Check and make sure the workpiece is protruding out of the minimum length line indicated on the fence. Yep, honest. Never cut a sliver on a mitre saw in my life, honest. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But yeah, so now we've released it. I'm assuming at the back here you've got your standard sliding pin. That will then release this up. Lots of warning symbols. I do like a good warning symbol, unfortunately, but I think that's possibly a little bit overkill. Don't know. Nothing's ever overkill when you're talking about safety, let's be honest. So lots of do's and don'ts, how to operate it. It is a sliding single mitre bevel, so single mitre bevel, that is a single bevel, so it only does one direction. You can get some which flip-flop both directions. This you're going to have to flip your piece of wood round, and you've got your rams as well in there, and your symbols. It's worth noting it does come with a tungsten carbide tipped blade. Oh yeah. It's got various accessories, all of which I believe come with this. So yeah, everything is included in the box. Yeah, brilliant. It's worth noting that the no load speed on this is 3,200 RPM. The blade size is 260 millimeters. The cutting capacity on a standard mitre is 220. That's 220 long and up to 70 mil in depth. I dare say it can, hopefully it can cut more than 70 mil, because I've got a 3x2 to try around trying to get through. But yeah, let's see whether or not it can go through a 3x2. Is going to be my plan. Then we might have a look and see whether or not it can go through some a nice bit of oak, a long sliver of oak. It's also got a bevel with capacity of 220 by 41. So if you've got a 38 mil slab, It'll go through that nicely. Mitre capacity of 155 by 70, and the mitre bevel combination of 155 by 41. That's pretty impressive considering the mitre 0 degrees and the bevel 45 is also 220 by 41, but obviously it cuts down the 220, which is the forward and backwards manoeuvrability, as a sacrifice, if you like. Bevel capacity is 0 to 45 degrees, and the mitre capacity is 0 to 45 degrees left and right. And it is worth noting that it's got some very, very, I'd say unusual. My mitre saw, which I've got, is a Evolution one. Let's not be around the bush. I do have other products, especially when it comes to mains powered stuff that isn't Worx. I do pick them very, very carefully and do an awful lot of research into them. But yeah, the four like cut-off points on this are obviously your 0 degree, which is where it's at basically in the middle. You then also have a 22.5, a 31.6, and a 45 degree pinch point, lock-off point. Should we call it a lock-off point? We'll call it a lock-off point. We're now just inventing terms. But yeah, it's got a actual, quite an accurate by the looks of it, degree. I am going to check the 90 degree function on it to make sure it is as accurate as possible and see whether or not there's any fine-tuning manoeuvrability on it. That's quite important, I think, when it comes to a mitre saw, especially if it's not set up to 0 degrees from the off. If it's set up to 0 degrees, you never need to touch it. It's just an initial setup thing, but I think it is quite important that you incorporate that functionality. And the laser also as well. We're going to see how good or bad or ugly the laser is. That's quite an important feature. A lot of people, especially in this day and age, tend to have a lot of reliability on the laser and its functionality as well. So we haven't really been told what this is for, unless I'm really mistaken. This is going to be a case of, I think, of find a hole and try and find out where it goes. Mounting holes, curve plate. It could be a lot of things. I'm not really sure where it would come into it, if I'm honest. I don't know, guys. Maybe you can spot it before I do, but I ain't seeing where that screw on lever goes. Ah, it goes in the front. You can see it there, Mike. Look, there it is. The insulation of it's there. So this should act as a lock and go through here, which it duly does, and again, I'll let you guys have a look. Turn this on, might help. You can see down the channel, if you like. You can see where it locks. It doesn't lock into, but it screws into this like little nut, and there you go. It pulls itself in, therefore locking it off in place. It's quite a handy little feature. Obviously it's standard on pretty much everything. Let's just move this around. We're not going to quite get into it yet. We're going to have a look at the battery and charger just for the sake of it, and then we'll attach the accessories that come with it. Oh, that's smooth, guys. He says as his pump goes through a Burton. That's real smooth, and the lock on that is very, very positive. There's really no wiggle room for that at all. Actually, that's almost, dare I say, that's beautiful. So there's a 15 degree lock there, 22.5 degree lock there, 31.6. That's so positive. Oh my god, that's better than my Evolution one. And so it locks off at 45, and it does actually do a couple of degrees extra. I don't think that's up to 50 degrees, if I'm honest. It's probably more like about 47.5, I reckon. Yeah, I think that's 47.5, and it does that both directions. And I will say, big kudos to Worx. That's incredibly smooth. The action on that, I know it's new, and that can be a bit subjective, but that really is super smooth. I'm impressed. And not be funny thing, I like to think I'm quite impartial on this. If Worx do anything that's a bit alright, I say it's a bit alright. If it's fantastic, I do have to turn around and give it a thumbs up and say it's fantastic, alright. What battery have we got? Well, we've got the 4 amp, stock 4 amp, which is the 3553. So that's currently not charged. I am going to put this on charge. And I'm going to get, here's one I made earlier. If I go down underneath my bench, I should have a pre-charged 4 amp battery. This is 3553, exactly the same as the one that came in the box. Difference is, that one's dead, this one's charged. I'll take the dead one, I'll put it on charge. Cool. Just what I might state that as quite an obvious thing. We're just going to put this to one side, and the charger is a charger. I won't give it out of the box. It's quite. We've been through chargers. Got an entire video dedicated on chargers, and it's the same as every other one. The 2 amp ones, it will charge the 4 amp battery in approximately 2 hours. Though it does take slightly less due to the fact that the battery will never be run completely flat down to 0 amps. So with that out of the way, let's install the other side guard. I'm just going to squeeze these together and insert them. That's really nice how it sort of clips in and then clips up for space saving reasons. Again, the Evolution one that I've got, you actually have to undo some screw nuts on the top to actually take the side flaps off. Real nice little touch that. It's a small touch, but it's nice. And that's the Worx way, really. They do lots of little tiny things that make a big difference to an overall product. And of course, let's be honest, the biggest thing and the most important thing, in my personal and humble opinion, is the sock. But before we have a look at the sock, let's just drop this down. And we're just going to talk amongst yourselves for 2 seconds. I'm just going to grab my my Hoover. I have a shop vac, and the shop vac has various different size adapters. I'm just wondering which size, if any, fit this. This is actually that one doesn't, but that one does. So it is universally compatible. I think this is a 45. Yeah, it's 168/45. That then goes down to 40, and this does have a 45mm output at the back, so you can attach it to your shop vac if you're lucky enough to have one. I won't be using it on this. I'm just going to be doing a standard bag. The bag itself has got a zip on it. Again, very smooth. This is like really nice touches. This is just little things that make a real nice difference. So the bag has got like a ring clip on it. Pinch it here, it opens up. We're just going to put it on. I assume the Worx bit has to go down, so it goes on like that. Assumption is never a good thing to have, but we're just going to put it over the first or bottom rib, if you like. Just to secure it in place. Hopefully that won't get too much blow by and anything like that. I'm just going to take my adapters and put them back safely on the front handle of my shop vac. My shop vac being an actual dust extractor rather than a vacuum cleaner. It's specifically designed for harvesting dust and chippings from my lathe. Yes. Right. Continuez, s'il vous plaît. So let's put the wings down. Should really switch the other microphone. You can. It's a real nice sound that going down. I'm not going to lie. So yeah, let's just flicker up. And the guard is actually automatic, and it's also got grips, if you like, on the outside here. It's also worth noting that it doesn't completely disable any dust from poking through there. I hope that doesn't create too much issues. But then again, it might not clog up on the inside. Worx do everything for a reason, and I'm not going to doubt them on anything like that. So, yep. Let's go for a 90-degree test. Now, for the 90-degree test, we're going to grab hold of our square. I've got a roofing square, which I'm just grabbing off screen. And the roofing square goes in. Obviously there's no battery in it, so I'm still clean and clear. And I'm just going to move that across. Obviously I can do the actual cut, but I just want to have an initial gauge at how... Oh, that's really nice. That appears that that's going to make an almost exact 90-degree cut. Again, I'm impressed. Works. You've really done a number on this. Okay. Yeah, let's have a look at the... let's install the battery. So we're going to go danger hot. And there's a switch across the back here. Of course you want to see it, so let me just lock it in place. This, I'm assuming, either makes the product hot or it turns on the laser. Maybe it does both. Let's assume it makes it hot, because I don't see a laser yet. Ah, so the actual laser was on all the time to start with. You guys probably saw that, I didn't. Right, so for our first test, we're going to grab a bit of treated, but not PSE, so it's not plain square edge. Bit of 3x2. We're going to use it in the 2-inch format first, and we're going to use it up to the cut line. You can see the sawmill, which I get my wood from, doesn't know what 90 degrees is if it's hitting the face. So the cut line is going to be the one that we're going to measure the 90 degrees off of, and see how good, bad, or indifferent that is. So I'm going to be using the, I haven't really talked about it, but you've seen it obviously here. This red lever at the back here holds the piece of wood in place, and the idea is that when you've got a longer piece of wood, it doesn't then just suddenly fall off the edge. Quite a nice little touch. Is it necessary? Probably not, but let's be honest, it's a cool piece of kit. I like it. The switch on the underneath of the handle, I better go through this as well. It's a bit weird. It's not like anything I've seen before quite, but you need to rock the switch across to make it live as a safety. There's no... You have to do that, otherwise that's the safety switch. Okay. Of course, when it comes to a safety switch, we all love a good safety switch, don't we? Right, let's get you guys zoomed in on the occasion. So let's really zoom you in. Let's just slightly change where you're looking at, and then go. I believe you're now. Actually, let's give you square. Let's give you square on. Is that square on? I think you guys are about square on thereabouts. I suppose you're looking down. Somewhere about there, I think. Hopefully you guys are now as square on as you're ever going to be to it. So I'm going to come this side, hold this lever down here, pull the switch across, and let's get cutting. That's pretty damn impressive. I'm really liking this. Really liking this a lot. As far as square goes, wow. The reason I'm really impressed by this is the fact being that I spent about a day and a half with my Evolution trying to get this cut. This cut right here, that of course you guys can't see because I forgot it's zoomed in, is 90 degrees. Look how 90 degrees that is. Assuming that my roofing square isn't made by the same people who set this up. And you've got to bear in mind as well, the wood that I buy is usually B-class rated wood. So the actual mill on this isn't actually that good at all. Actually, this is the original milled edge. And you can see here, they ain't got a Scooby-Doo what square looks like. Look at that. That's their milled edge. And actually, I'm sure Worx know what a square edge looks like. Let them show you how it's done. I really am super duper impressed with that. Make up your own mind. Yeah, I've got various tools which cut stuff. I've got a bandsaw, I've got a table saw. None of them cut like that straight out of the box. So you've got to give them credit where it's due. That's amazing. Yeah, let me just find some bigger wood, I suppose. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just have I'm just going to do a sample test. This will see whether or not it's got the possible capability. I mean, we all know it's said that it's got a 70mm cut, and maybe that 70mm is due to the mechanism at the back here, which if we can remove using these little levers behind, you can remove this bar. Is that the limiting factor, or is it literally the blade cannot go any deeper? That's my question, and one that I'm about to try and cheat and find out. I reckon it will do it. I reckon you can take that guide away. Okay, you have to do it the old-fashioned way, so I'm going to keep my thumb tucked in here, and I'm going to grip with my 3 fingers at the back of this bar here, okay? This will ensure the piece is nice and firm, the thumb's locked in, like that, and that should mean that I can cut this with ease, no issues at all. Let's have a look. There we have it. It will go through that. Now somewhere around, I say somewhere, I do have quite a large workshop, alright, so just bear with me on this. I might actually just pause you. I'm going to go find a bit of 3x3. Because 3x3 would be quite nice to see whether or not I can go through that. In my opinion, anyway. Well guys, unfortunately I couldn't find a bit of 3x3, so here's a bit 4x4 instead. Let's really up the ante. So this isn't going to be as cut through in one hit. Obviously it's only got a 216mm blade. Plus obviously you've got the actual spindle holding it on. Therefore we're going to be looking at doing 2 cuts. So having said that, my 255mm Evolution saw doesn't even cut through this. So this is really a mass test of how good is this. We're about to find out. Let's go for it. And there's one. Which one we're going to do this one? Probably like that, then run through, so that way we try and get the same line. The laser perfectly, I'd like to add lines up with just over the left hand side of that. At the front, it's what you see is what you get. Let's have a look, see whether or not it'll cut it. And then one more. So there we have it. Go on then, let me just finish it off. Just make it a little bit neater. My OCD won't allow it, I know. Meh, close enough. So yeah, if you do want, you can cut 4-inch blocks, and on a 4-inch block, with the exception of the bit it can't reach, again, she's square. Look at that. That's worth its weight in gold. A square cut on a 4-inch piece of wood out of a 260mm blade. That's impressive. Again, I'd like Worx to one day make something where I go, ooh, don't like that. I really would. But unfortunately, I don't think that day will ever come, not anytime soon anyway. Yeah, I'm really impressed with this. Should we have a look at Bevel? Should we have a look at Bevel on 3x2? I know this video is now dragged really on. I'm trying to keep them as short as possible. I think this is worth probably a little bit extra time. There's a lever at the very back here that needs to be undone, and then it will lock across. Ironically, that wasn't actually tight. A little bit concerned, but so be it. So this is going to be the dead end. We'll go up to the minimum cut length. It'll be a bit naughty, but it's for the camera and for the camera angles, so bear with. But actually, let's not be naughty. Let's be really, really good. Let's put this bar back in place and be safe. However said bar goes again. There it goes. It knows when it's home. And then flick these levers across at the back. These levers that I'm talking about, by the way, are these ones just here. Unlock them to remove the bar, lock them in place like that to use the bar. Okay, this is on full mitre. If I remember rightly, it might not go through this because I think this is the limit of the system. So make sure that's firmly pressed up, and just holding it using the bar only. Let's give it a go. For the sake of that, will it get the rest of it if I turn and put it back in again? I'm not sure. Let's give it a go, give it the best chance. No is your answer, but that is very close to doing a 3x2 on a mitre. Is it 45 degrees? I think it is personally. Have I got something that will measure 45 degrees? Is that the 45 degrees? Is that 45? Of course it's 45 degrees. It's a nice isosceles triangle, Mike. Or was it Pythagoras? That's just... I think the best way to do this is to do it on the ground. And that way there's no... Wow, 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 Worx, wow, just wow. How many wows can I put into one? Start playing World of Warcraft, there's that many wows. That's really, really, really impressive, and that's just from the off. There is a screw here to adjust what 45 degrees looks like. Don't touch it. They know exactly what 45 degrees looks like from the off as well. There's also a mitre guide behind here that looks like it has some form of adjustment on it. Again, I really wouldn't touch it. I'd just keep it as it is. From stock, it is set up to perfection. Oh yeah, I'm a little bit speechless. I'd like to do something which is a little bit more harder. Let's go see if I can find some harder wood, some more exotic wood to go stick in here rather than standard pine. We've destroyed quite a few bits of pine, fir, redwood, softwood. Let's go have a look, see what we can do some harder wood, and I'll be back in a sec. So here we have a slab of oak. This is Welsh oak. I love my Welsh oak to pieces. I think it's one of the better ones because it's slower and better grown than the European oaks. Hey, I've just found a little bit of a issue. I think the laser's slightly fuzzed up. Give you a little tickle there, laser, and you come back. So there you go. It's not 100% perfect. It ain't bloody close. Or ain't half close, rather. Right, so I am disobeying the rules of the limits here. So let's just see on a piece of European Welsh oak, Welshish oak, how good this is. I'm going to try and do it as aggressively as possible to try and give it the fairest possible test at whatever compromise it takes my blade. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of oak versus the Worx wx845. Aggressive enough? I think you'll agree. I was quite aggressive with that. Slightly annoying that bit of rock goes right the way through there, to be honest. It's a shame. But hey ho, that's not for me to... I paid twopence halfpenny for that. Or 3 and 6, whichever one comes sooner. And yeah, that, again, the cut, considering it's a fast cut, still extremely smooth. I'm super impressed with this. I really am. I'd like to find a fault with it, some way, shape or form, but I really am struggling. Sorry guys, I feel like I've almost failed because I can't find anything really wrong with this. Do you want to do a mitre? Let's do a mitre on a piece of... I won't waste me oak, if that's alright with you guys. Fortunately, I have to go quite far to go and get oak of that sort of quality and Welshish type. If I know if I have to go to Wales. Unless somebody wants to send me some Welsh oak. Viewer Reese has some Welsh oak in his back garden. He sent it to Mike. Way. I wish. So let's go for a mitre and see how good the mitre function on this is. I'm expecting, to be honest, the rest of it 45 degrees, but let's see. It done it. If I'd have moved it to the front, it probably would have done it slightly better. Again, I'm not doubting it, but let's just have a look and make sure that is going to marry up with that end. That end, that way. Got to put it on it like that. And sure enough, as you'd expect, let's be honest, you butt that up. I can't really make it much more 45 degree than that for a mitre. It's slightly off, if I'm honest. Was that maybe not in the crane? No, it was. It does have a little tiny bit of play in that actually. Maybe that's the reason why. It's not a bad attempt at a mitre, to be honest. That could also be down to the wood. Like I said, I always buy seconds woods, and you could potentially blame that on the wood. That's not exactly flat against it. That's not exactly a decent prime example. Probably might have slewed that slightly. I do apologise if I have. Let's try and do it on a smaller piece. That's my cut from the Worx saw itself. And okay, even on a bit of re-evaluation, that is 45 degrees. There's no... Yeah, providing you've got a 90 degree face to start with, that is 45 degrees, 100%. Beautiful. I almost thought I had them then, I really did. Yeah, I can't push much harder. Obviously I do have this thing called mechanical sympathy that I always have to bear in mind, but I have tried to test it to the max. I also like the fact being that not only, apart from everything else, my main favourite thing I think has got to be, statistically at least, I haven't actually felt this. Let me just remove the battery because I don't want to lose fingers. I actually have 4 fingers on that hand, a thumb, and on this hand I have 4 fingers and a thumb as well, which means in total I have 10 digits, and I want to keep it that way, alright? Yeah, the thing which I love more than anything, lock that off at the back, is the fact being this only weighs about 10 kilos, which as far as mitre saws go, makes it almost lightweight. The motor size on this is fairly large. It's got to be for going through something like this. I mean, it's also not brushless as well. Maybe one day Worx to make a brushless version of this. I'd certainly love to see that. But then again, the brush version hasn't exactly chewed through a battery. It's still on 3 bars, even after cutting through the oak as well. You've got to give it credit where it's due. This really is a gnarly piece of kit. If I've got any real negative comments to around to say, the bag didn't really do its job as well as what maybe it should. However, not being funny, I've got a shop vac, so I don't really massively care about that, if I'm honest. But yeah, as far as a mitre saw goes, the Worx wx845 has got to be up there, especially as a cordless model. It's super impressive. Yeah, there you go, guys. I'm not going to do an on-camera wrap because I think that's really all you need to know about this. I've done over a 40-minute video now, so yeah, I'm going to leave you guys to it, and I shall see you in the next video. As always, guys, like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more fantastic videos. No, seriously, I do a lot of reviews on Worx tools. You may be able to see some bits and pieces in the background you might be interested in. I may potentially be doing some other videos in the future that might interest you due to do with those items that you may potentially see in the background. Maybe that thing. It's not as a tempter, it's just a nice background thing to put up, or maybe you saw that in the corner there, and you might be interested to see that. I don't know, maybe you might, maybe you don't really care about your garden tools at all, but yeah, I shall leave you guys to it, and as always, stay safe. It's worth noting as well, I am using a new piece of audio equipment. I'm using the Synco G1A1 wireless lavalier, however you pronounce it, microphone. So let me know if the audio is good, bad, or indifferent, or what you think of the audio on this one. Do you like it? Do you not think it covers enough background noise? Let me know in the comments. If you also want me to do anything exceptionally different with this, you want to send me something to try and chop through it, maybe you've got a piece of, I know, like something mad like the old what's it called? Is it Tonga Tonga? Like one of the like hardest types of wood. Yeah, you want to see whether or not I'll go through that. By all means, send me that, and I'll endeavour to try and do something with it that will potentially show its worth and its grace. Yeah, I'll say if you want any other details or anything like that, feel free to put in the comment section, or either do a separate little mini video for you, or I will just write it in the comments. Okay, take care of yourself, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.